And the dudes that are collaborating and they're always in groups, they're a lot more smiling. It looks like the energy's a lot up, and the other guys are kind of like off to the background. I don't know if maybe they don't want to be involved or not, but it just, from what we're doing as a coaching thing, I think it's just so much more value to do it.
Just like at home, I love it down here. Let's have some fun today.
Guys, we're doing a real cool segment here because it's about how did you connect and network with different hitting coaches. The reason why we all look different, but yet we're able to connect so easily in the vibe that we look with. Because there's a few people in the hitting community that I see, not a few, there's a lot, that when they hate on people and when they they don't realize that what's that doing is it's separating me from connecting and learning more. And it puts me in this little box with myself, right? And I think it's important for the young hitting coaches that just start out to know how important it is to be able to stay open-minded, right? Vibe with someone and not take criticism from other coaches too personal. People don't hate down, they hate up, right? They hate you if you're doing a little better, if they feel like a little bit insecure. So just understand where you are and fall on that totem pole and keep moving. But I'll start with Joey. Look, Joey, we kind of vibe right off the bat. I love his stuff. He's in Nashville, right, in Tennessee, the hit lab. What do you think?
I mean, for us, we have the approach where, like, think about if you go to the hospital, you have an injury, you go to the hospital, right? You don't just go see one doctor, see an entire staff, right? So you walk in, you're in front desk anyway. This is where we need to get as a baseball community. This is what we're doing. We're building the village, right? So you walk in, you see the front desk lady, then you go might see a nurse, you'll see the doctor, and if you need a specialty surgery, then you go see a specialist, right? They are all working as a team. These are the smartest people in the world, as a team. As baseball coaches, the tendency is, it's not good. We get our egos in check. We feel like guys starting to want label guys. Well, that's my guy, that's my guy, we did this. Realistically, we need to build a village to help one kid maybe get a little bit better and then pass them along. I would have no problem sending any of my hitters to any of these guys.
All right, guys, next, we're going right along. Here's a perfect example, okay? I've known Joey for a few years, Nate for a few years, Casey for a few years. We've been exchanging and sharing information back and forth. I'm constantly learning from them, and hopefully they take something from me. But I met this guy, we all met this guy right here. This is what this event's for. He's a hitting coach at Cutternation. Now, if I'm a guy, or if we're guys that are setting our ways and we want to click up, and we don't want to let anybody else in because you want to be the guy that has all the stuff, I get cheated. We get cheated out of his information. That's what happens. It's not, I'm better than you, it's I end up getting cheated from what he knows. So this guy, right, you got white dude from Tennessee with a big beard. A couple of white dudes from Tennessee. Hey, you got a Puerto Rican Jew from Brooklyn right here. We got some type of Asian character. Filipino, young Manny Pacquiao out here, okay? We never seen him before, right? But he's a dude, he works for Cutternation. What do you think about his vibe?
Oh, the vibe is like the most important thing, especially when it comes to the people that you're working with, kids that you're working with. Like one thing that I've learned a lot from coaching, right, when I just started was like connecting with the players was like super important, right? Especially at any level, whether like just starting out, whether they're a pro guy, like one of the things I like to ask is like, hey, what are you working on? What have you been working on, right? And then that gives me a good standpoint of like where to go. That way I'm not like trying to completely change their stuff or they start from scratch, you know, we have a working point to work with. And you know, I tell all these guys that like talking about like, hey, are you gonna be here today, or like like my kid can be working with you, and especially at Cutternation, it's like a team thing that we're doing, so it doesn't matter for you, right? That's one thing I can tell these players and these parents too, is like, look, I probably wasn't your first hitting coach, and I'm definitely not gonna be your last, right? So you gotta be able to do and like take what you learn and be able to make it work for you. The same thing, take anything and whatever coaching, especially when you get to college, high school, pro ball, you have a lot of eyeballs, a lot of ears on you. You got to be able to like, oh, okay, that makes sense to me. That works. Okay, I'm gonna try that. You know, be open-minded and stuff like that. And so us as coaches, we got to be open-minded too. Like, look at this. This is a group, big group of hitting coaches. And with Cutternation too, like we've been on the thing where we want to team up with facilities. Like we did the lab ABs with 2 guys, and you know we were able to talk to the hitters, talk to Joey about hitting, and then use the pitchers to like kind of whether it's exposed or like, oh, he does something really well off of live pitching, and that's where we kind of tailor our training, and we can really just work from there and connect with everybody.
It's awesome because you look around here and it's like you can tell the guys that are collaborating, and you can tell the dudes that are walking around by themselves. And the dudes that are collaborating and they're always in groups, they're a lot more smiling. It looks like their energy's a lot up, and the other guys are kind of like off in the background. I don't know if maybe they don't want to be involved or not, but it's just from what we're doing as a coaching thing, I think it's just so much more valuable to do it. This guy right here, you can follow him. His name's Nate Henley. He's a genius when it comes to hitting, in my opinion. And you can see what he does at Ed Henley 14, or he's also at 108 Performance. He's got another facility in Nashville. Anyway, I just want to give the mic to Henley for a second because he's a real laid-back dude. He's not really confrontational. These are the type of guys that even when people come at him and come at his concepts, he tends to keep his cool really well. I think that's important. So how do you do that, Henley?
Well, I mean, I think the ultimate thing is each and every one of us, when it comes to our drills or our cues we're using, I think everyone sucks and everyone's good. It just depends on the hitter and making sure it's used correctly in the right situation. Kind of building off of Joey talked about going to see the doctor. If you walk into a pharmacy and every piece of medication on the counter doesn't have a label on it, there's a good chance if you're sick and you take something, it may make you better, but it also might kill you. So just simply understanding what's right in the right situations, the type of movements that you need. But we say stuff on the floor every day that I want to wash my mouth out with soap because I can't believe I just said that to a hitter. But then it's like it works. So it doesn't matter. And if anybody out there is trying to tell you that there's one swing for every hitter, it's wrong. Flat out wrong. Everybody moves differently. You're going to have different swings. There's going to be different movement patterns. So instead of us all fighting and competing over who's the best hitting guy, let's build a community in which when I have a guy in San Diego that can't get to Knoxville, or that's where he's living now, I can reach out to my guy and say, hey, I got someone I trust. When I got someone in Middle Tennessee, I got a guy I can trust. When I got a guy out in Northern California, I got a guy. When I got a guy in Alabama, the biggest thing is making players better. It's not about the egos as far as the coaches go. And when we can get past that, I think ultimately we're going to do what we want to do to make this game better. And honestly, the way this is building, like we're able to impact coaches instead of just players. The more coaches we can impact, the more players we get to. We can only be in the tunnel so much. But when we can build a community around the country of guys like-minded and open-minded, hey, let's share stuff. Let's make guys better all around the country because we are like-minded and open.
Casey Smith, I'm sure everybody sees he's got a great way of communicating information to hitters. I feel like a lot of people are drawn to his stuff. And I've sent my hitters personally to Casey with no kind of background of, hey, make sure you remember what we did, or just go there and learn. So, Casey, how do you feel like you connect with people in the hitting world? And why?
Literally just had one of the pro guys that I work with came up and hit with Joey. Like, it's fantastic to be able to have that network of guys, because anytime you're the smartest person in the room, you're not learning, you're not getting better. My favorite thing to do is be around other people that are way smarter than me, so that I can absorb information. The stuff that I teach, I didn't make it. Like literally, I've learned it from the guys around me, and all I do is communicate. And so, like, the more information I can absorb, the better I'm going to be able to help the players. They know this. There's times where I have somebody like, I don't know. Like, and if you as a coach can accept the fact that you don't know and reach out to people to help you out, that's the best thing for your players. If you think you know everything, then you don't. That's a big problem. Like, I don't know, and I want help. The better off you're going to be as a coach, and it makes everything more fun because you're not like I know it, I can use time. It's nah, man, you don't, and it's about the player. Put the player first. That's all that matters.
That's I think it's so important for the guys that are just starting to become hitting coaches, which we were all there. Sometimes it's very, it was daunting experience for me to run into guys that had been doing it for a while when I just started. And I would always feel a little bit judged, and I would always feel like certain drills I did where people were looking to see if I knew what I was doing or not. Don't let the outside stuff, if you're a young hitting guy that's just started to be a hitting coach, affect how you're treating your players, your creativity, your drill design. Don't worry about any of it. If your intentions in your heart is good and you're willing to ask questions to other people, you'll be fine, right? Nobody creates the first drill for the first time. Like, there's a variation for everything. Nothing is my idea or his idea. Unless you were around in 1785 and you were the first guy out there in the colonial times with a tea or something, I guess you did the first drill. But if you live in 2023 like us, there's nothing new. It's all variations of things we're learning from each other, right? So guys, thanks for joining us for this one. And as always, stay crispy out there. My guy.
Follow Cutternation. It's necessary. Let's go.